you doing, Wes? Just got to get live everywhere. Okay. Alrighty. How we doing? What's going on, everybody? Christopher, welcome in. All right. It's actually a really cool build because I got to pick everything with no input from anybody else, because this is a build for Lootfest, which is coming up in like 9 days. Lootfest is, if you think like TwitchCon, it's kind of like that. It's a small creator-focused like community event every year down in Fort Worth, Texas. And every year I bring 2 systems for creators to come and stream and game from live at the event. And this is one of those builds that we're going to be providing for the creators to come and stream from. So let's talk about what's in this system. This is a really cool one. I really like it. We've got an Intel Core Ultra 5 245K. We've got a 1 terabyte SSD, 32 gigs of RAM. We've got an RTX 5070, a B860M plus Wi-Fi. So it's a micro ATX board, and you'll see why. We've got a 240 millimeter AIO and an 850 watt A+ Gold power supply. And then this is what all of that is going inside of. So this is the Montech Heritage Pro. So this has like a faux leather. So it's not wood. This is faux leather all over the case. It's even got a carrying handle that you attach to these little knobs here. So you can just pick it up and walk off with it. So this is a micro ATX form factor case. So we'll have the motherboard in there. We'll have the AIO on top. This one comes with some fans pre-installed. And then the power supply is going to be mounted right up front. Yeah, this is a sick case. I'm really excited to build in this thing. And I love it's kind of a nice mix. Like, it's not a like super small form factor where you have to be super careful with everything that you fit inside of it. But it's also like, it's nice and compact, you know? What up, Warfliper? How we doing? People are still buying parts for PC builds in 2026. Yeah, people are still doing it. This is not a customer build, so this is for Lootfest. So we're taking this to Lootfest in about a week and a half. Well, I leave in like a week. But in a week and a half, creators are going to be using this to game and stream off of at Lootfest. It's going to be super cool. Do you know any small form factor ATX cases? So you want a full ATX motherboard, but you want small form factor? If you're just thinking like X and Y, but it can be taller, there's a really cool one, the Fantex Evolve V2. It's like a not super deep, not super wide, but like pretty tall case. That's a really good one. There's not a lot of like small form factor full ATX cases, because that kind of, you can only make it so small when you have a full ATX case, you know, or full ATX motherboard. You know, Leonly 011 Mini is another one that's like smaller. You know, none of the full ATX ones are going to be small, you know. I can't, I'm going to butcher this name, but thank you for following. Nisaya Kair. And I can't see the end of your name, but thank you for following. I'm so sorry. I totally butchered your name. 2K in parts in my new 8 car, everything but GPU and power supply. I mean, yeah, 2K in parts is a lot, man. I mean, you don't have a GPU yet. At some point, you just got to pull the trigger, Hatfield. Your system is like 10 years old. But yeah, this case is sick. Should we just get going? Should we get started? I think we should. I'm excited for this build. Partly because I got to spec it all out with no input from like a customer or anything. This is just a build that I wanted to put together because it's for Lootfest. There is no customer for it yet. Someday, hopefully there will be a customer. Somebody's gonna hopefully buy it. But, you know, until then, it's all mine. Reuse your 3090 and power supply out of the ancient system. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Dude, just buy the other stuff. Do it. Do it. Sell a car. All right. Let's get started. Let's get started. Yo, thank you everyone on TikTok for hanging out and following. We're literally like 500 followers away on TikTok from being fully monetized. So, you know, if you're hanging out and you're watching and you think this is, you know, fun, interesting content, please hit that follow button. Please. Please. All right, that's all the begging I'm gonna do. I will probably remind you guys throughout the stream, just because new people will be coming in, and you know, if nothing else, I'm a shill for my own content. Okay. All right. SFF time has some really small ATX cases. SFF time. Okay. Interesting. I haven't done a lot of, like, every small form factor thing that I've done has been either micro ATX or ITX. I'm not as familiar with like small form factor full ATX cases. What up, Zach? How we doing? Finish your A4H2O build? How do you like it? Have you run it at all yet? I saw that. You mentioned that your GPU said it was technically bigger than what the case says it could handle, which is quite a it's a pretty wild thing to do. Pretty bold. 8000 megahertz CL38 DDR5. Dang. That's it's pretty bold to go that high end on RAM right now. Looks good though. Love to hear that. Was that a rebuild? Like you took stuff out of another system and put it in there? Mark, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Rocket Man. Ooh, Corsair fanboy. I'm part of Corsair's Path to PC partnership. Yo, with the rose and the chili. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Mark. You guys are awesome. All right. Intel i5, Core Ultra 5 245K. This is a 14-core CPU, which is honestly great. This is like what Intel does well right now, even though they're getting rid of it in future generations. The only good thing about having these E-cores is that they are great for if you want to game and stream off of a single PC, because you can get this right now. I think I just looked it up. This CPU is like $200. So $200, you get 14 cores, 6 cores, which will be used primarily for like gaming. And then if you're running OBS and other stuff in the background, that's all going to get shifted over to the E-cores, hopefully. So you can have a super solid gaming streaming CPU, $200. It's pretty solid. Over $500 in Corsair LX 120mm and 140mm fans and the Frame 5000D. Let's go. You can see it here. So this is a newly built. Most of it is new. The only thing, I kept like the CPU and the GPU, but this is from Path to PC. So we got the Frame 4000D. We got a set of their RGB, or they're like the IQ. I think they're the LX Max fans. Got the Corsair Titan AIO, the Corsair Shift power supply. I wasn't able to get in fast enough to get memory or an SSD from them, but hopefully they should be sending me some other stuff instead, since obviously nobody's giving away free RAM right now. Mark, thank you for the likes. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I have a lot of stuff from Corsair. What do you think of Be Quiet? I really like Be Quiet. They make really good stuff. I haven't used their stuff much lately. A lot of the builds I've been doing more recently have been more on the budget-friendly side, and so haven't been using the Be Quiet stuff quite as much. the LCD. I wanted the LCD. I tried to get them to send me one. But hey, can't say no to free stuff, right? All right, Teamgroup NV5000 1 terabyte. Great little drive, says it can do read up to 5,000 megabytes per second. Pretty solid. You ordered the pump? Nice. What do you think? I already read that. I got that. I saw Timber in the name and I was like, oh yeah, I know who that is. I know who that is. Can't get one by me. All right, got that in there. Oh, almost dropped it. Okay, let's get our back plate and stuff on there real quick. Well, I guess we can put our RAM in. All right, so this is 32 gigs of CL30 6000 from Kingston Fury. I got a pretty decent deal on these a while back, so I ordered as many as I could. And yeah, we're basically just gonna be using these for a bit until I run out of them. And by a good deal, I mean everything else was like $360 and these were like $308, so not an incredible deal, but better than, you know, by itself. Yo, Mark with a couple more roses. Thank you, dude. But your first ever PC last week, never did it before. 9800 XRD 57 Ti, let's go. Be quiet is German engineering. German engineering, man, something to be said. I don't like working on their cars, but man, do they make good stuff. Come on, click in, there we go. All right, 32 gigs of RAM. Let's get our AIO out here and we'll get the mounting stuff in. You have this RAM kit? It's a great RAM kit. Honestly, up until like the Ramageddon stuff, Kingston was like, I feel like every big PC company that I know was using Kingston almost exclusively. I don't know what they're using now, but 4800 RPM D5 to 5900 RPM D5. Noticeable difference, probably not an average loop, but mine's so large. Ah. Yeah, maybe yours is able to create, you know, more pressure. Maybe that new one is able to create more pressure. That could make a big difference if you have a big loop. Should my PC sit at 70C idle? No, it should not. How old is your system? If you're talking CPU temps, no, it should not. I mean, nothing should be that hot at idle, but no, it should not. Moral of the story, no, it shouldn't be that hot. You just built it? Sounds like you probably have too little or too much thermal paste. Or you might not have hooked up your pump properly. Make sure your pump is in like the AIO pump port, and make sure, I always set it to, like, make sure it's set to PWM mode, and I set it to full speed. That way your pump is keeping everything nice and cool. But if you do that stuff, like you make sure it's in the right port, set it to full speed, and it's still running that hot, you probably have a either too much or too little thermal paste. Top 3 best GPU for 1080p in 2026. All right, let's pause for a moment. Best 3 GPUs for 1080p in 2026. First, I gotta go with the 9060 XT 8GB. You can get them for like just over $300. It's gonna be awesome for anything at 1080p. If you have a little bit more money, get the 9060 XT 16GB. You're still gonna be able to get them for around $400 to $450, I believe, which is gonna be about $100 less than you're gonna find a 5060 Ti 16GB. You might be able to find a 5060 Ti 8GB, but it's going to be almost the same price as the 9060 XT 16GB. I would say my third would be like an RTX 5060, or if you can, like honestly, if you can look in the used market, you can get like an RTX 3070 or an RTX 4060 for like around 200 bucks. Those are gonna beat out like the RTX 5050. So if you can find one of those, you know, make sure it's in good working condition. That's also a pretty decent option. I actually have a video planned and scripted for what I consider the best GPU to buy at each price point. I just haven't filmed it yet, so stay tuned on that. Okay. Take the plastic off the cooling block. That is definitely a possibility. ROG Strix, gaming Wi-Fi. Dude, that's killer, Rocky Man. That's killer. 3060 Ti 12 gig. That is not a bad option. If you can find those for pretty cheap, those are not bad at all either. The GPU in this system, I forgot to update the specs. So yeah, don't use exclamation point specs today because I forgot to update it. GPU in this system is gonna be an RTX 5070. G-Skill Trident Z5, $599. Is that for 32 gigs? Hatfield, is that for 32 gigs? Found the issue. The fans were stopped from moving due to cables. There you go. All right, so we got that in there. I think we don't actually need to do anything else because that adheres to the back, and then this guy looks like it should just bolt straight into those. Yeah. So there's no other mounting bits that were in there. There's the bolts for mounting the radiator up, and there are bolts for the AMD stuff. So there's these brackets that you would swap out on there for AMD, and that's it. So nothing else to do. That's pretty nice, actually. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so this is ready to be shifted aside, and we can grab our case. Ugh. This super cool thing. We're just gonna take all the panels off. Ugh. I swear, they always over tighten these thumb screws, man, at the factory. Oh, these ones aren't too bad. I love that. Dude, that faux leather. That faux leather just looks good. I'm so excited for this build, you guys. I know I've said it like 4 times already, but it's gonna be sick. Trying to sell, just build. I'm building, develop, David. People are asking me questions and they want answers. Don't come at me. Let me have fun. Jeez, that's so much for 16 gigs of RAM. Trying to sell my 3060 i7 13700, 32 gigs DDR5, and everyone's trying to lowball you. 3060 with a 13700. Gosh, that 3060 is just not worth much. Honestly, I think Rocket Man's pretty close. I think $600 to $800 is probably about as much as you're gonna get out of it at this point. You know, clean it all up, replace the thermal paste. You know, make sure that it's running really good. But I don't think you're gonna get much more than that. Are some of these fans not pre-installed? What the heck? Okay. This is, I think, an adapter plate for if we had an SFX power supply. This looks like native mounting for the power, for an ATX power supply, so we shouldn't need that. Fans. I thought these fans would be pre-installed, sir. Okay. Couple an extension there. What the heck is this? Oh. So the Pro version, I forgot about this. So the Pro version of this case also comes with this little mount here, so you can mount your, you can hang your headphones on the side of the case. I don't know if this must replace part, like the handle part, because I don't see an extra like hole for it. So we'll have to decide how we want to set that up when we bring it to Lootfest. Okay, fan number 3. So these 3 fans are going to be intakes along the bottom. Got our all of our bolts and stuff. And then the best part, our strap. So this is the strap that goes over the top so you can just pick it up and carry it. How cool is that? How cool is that, chat? I think it's pretty freaking cool, and I don't care what you think, actually. I'm just kidding. It's a beautiful case, I agree. 2 terabyte Gen 5 SSD, Core Ultra 7, ASRock Taichi Z890. I mean, that's solid, dude. It's a great build. Are you, Hatfield, do you live near a micro center? It's okay, 6 core 12. What's 6 core? Oh, sorry, I read that. What do you think of the combo Ryzen 7 7500X 3D and 9070 XT? Is the CPU enough? It should be okay, yeah. I would personally, if you can, I mean, it depends on if you live near a micro center. If you can, I would go to, if you can go to micro center, I would go there and get the 7600X 3D combo. It's like $400 and you get RAM, you get RAM, motherboard, and CPU all together. If you don't, then yeah, 7500X 3D is all you're gonna have access to, but yeah. All right, so we're gonna mount these guys like this, and like this. Come on, in there. We got this extension. In St. Louis, there's one about 90 minutes away. Honestly, it might be worth, well, I guess, I don't know what they include in the Intel bundles, but it might still be worth it, even if you just turn around and sell that RAM and get the RAM that you want, just for that bundle, if they have something good for the Core Ultra 7. Because, like, I know the 7600X 3D bundle is like a multiple $100 savings. Leroy, yes you can. Absolutely. All right, those are for fans. Actually, we do need those. These are for motherboards. Okay, so they use maybe 6x32s. Fan screws. Okay, but they're not for these because these are not bolt throughs. Okay. Cool, and some zip ties to add to my collection. All right, let's install these fans real quick before we install the motherboard. Not those, these. Are you allowed to snip off ARGB cables? They are like a waste of space in the build right now, and they were clogging the fans. Yeah, you can. I mean, I probably wouldn't, but you know, as long as they're not connected to anything, as long as none of them are connected to anything, you should be fine. You just have to be careful that whatever you snip, like put some electrical tape or something on, because you don't want it shorting on the on a metal piece on the case and causing problems, you know. Do you think quantum computers can be the next upgrade? I have no idea. I don't know anything about quantum computers. Should I get a 9060 XT 16 gig and the Ryzen 7 5700X or the 5600? Right now, based on pricing, I would probably get the 5600 XT or the 5800 XT. I don't, you know, if you're getting them new, the 5600 XT is cheaper than the 5600X, and it's got a little bit faster clock speeds. And if you're just gaming, you don't need 8 cores. It's not going to really make a difference because most games can't even utilize that many cores. So unless you're doing other stuff while gaming, you don't really need to get the extra cores. Computers require a degree just to operate the thing. Quantum computers require a degree just to operate the thing. I know, right? And cost, man. They're all MSI and Asus boards. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? You prejudiced against them? Thoughts on the 9900K 3080 Ti shunt modded and 32 gigs of RAM in 2026? I mean, it's going to be usable, but you know, definitely not going to have the performance of a modern system, even when you have all the mods and stuff. In your country, you can only get the 5600. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. If that's the case, then yeah, nothing wrong with getting the 5600 because it's gonna run great. Well, I guess if you're talking 5600 versus 5700X, that could make a difference because the X typically has a little bit better clock speeds and higher power capacity. That could make the difference. You might want to look up a video on what the performance is between the two, like on YouTube. It could make a little bit of a difference. I don't know how much the pricing difference is for you, where you're at. So you'd have to kind of evaluate whether that makes sense to make that upgrade. The percentage difference is probably gonna be under 10%, but you know, could be worth it. Electow, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, anytime, Leroy. How much was everything in this build? Well, I used a bunch of Amazon rewards points for this, so it cost me almost nothing. But if you were to buy it new today, like all the parts yourself, I think it would be in the realm of like $1,600 to $1,800. Let me check. Excuse me. Let me take a quick peek here. So this pricing is a little bit old because this is from when I built it or when I ordered it. So pricing, if you built it yourself, would it'd probably be in the realm of like $1,700. No, it's gonna be more because the RAM I got was cheaper. Maybe like $1,900 to build this one by yourself right now. Just based on RAM and GPU price changes since the time that I built this or ordered this stuff. This has been sitting on my shelf for a minute. I did. I saved my points for so I use my business credit card for literally everything for my business. I saved it all year, like literally the entire year. And bought almost every single part on this for this system with points. This system and the other system that we're bringing. I had thousands of dollars in Amazon rewards points built up. It's crazy. LTT screwdriver's overpriced? Maybe. But I love it. I've had it for like 3 years now. I use it all the time. Like, it's worth it to me because I use it all the time. If you don't use it every day or, you know, multiple times a week, I would agree. But with how much I use it, it's worth it for me. Yo, is 27-inch 1080p fine or should I go with 24-inch? If you're going with 1080p, I would probably go 24-inch. Hey, what the heck? Just because, like, when you start getting really big on the 27-inch, it's just not gonna look as good because the pixels are gonna be so big. Just upgraded to a 10900F from a 10100. Got for free. Hell yeah. Currently have a pair with a 2060. What GPU should you upgrade it to? I wouldn't do anything crazy. Maybe like a used 3070 or something like that. You know, that 10 series is getting pretty old, so you're gonna be bottlenecked by the CPU if you upgrade to something really modern. You know, if you have intentions to like upgrade the whole system down the road, you know, you could go with like a 9060 XT 8 or 16 gigabyte, but like, you know, if you're balling on a budget, you know, you can get like a 3070 for like 200 to 250 bucks on eBay right now. That would probably be my suggestion. All right, it's nice and solid. Yeah, exactly, Timber. Hold on, I need to check and see if this was auto-modded for good reasons. Why was that auto-modded? I don't know. It's my Ryzen 5 5500 paired with a 1660 Super GPU. I mean, that's fine. You know, if you're on a budget, you're on a budget, man. All right. So we got all that stuff connected. Let's, I guess let's flip this baby up. Oh, wait, let's put this in here, back in here first. I think it went this way. Did it not go that way? Oh, wait, hold on, I went too far. It looks like there's caches on either side. There we go. Filter installed. Wow, my voice just went. My voice just disappeared for a second there. Dav, thank you for following. Appreciate you. Sorry, those specs. I forgot to update the specs, guys. That's my fault. Let me talk you through what's new. 7800X3 during the launch discount, best purchase you ever made. Dude, it's on a huge discount right now too. Yeah, I think they were like under 400 bucks, right? For a minute. Okay. In this system, we've got an Intel Core Ultra 5 245K, 32 gigs of RAM, 240 millimeter AIO. We've got an Asus TUF B860M motherboard, 850 watt power supply. And then we've got the Heritage Pro motherboard, or Heritage Pro case from Montech. Okay, what were we gonna do next? Probably plug all these things in, probably get Lazy Susan out here. Let's get Susan out here. Yeah, 1660 is still gonna run, you know, pretty much any game at 1080p, so, you know. It's not bad. Yeah, that's not a bad GPU at all, man. All right. Let's do that. Oh my gosh. There is not a lot of room down here. Whew. Barely fit that through. Don't know that our HD audio connector is going to fit through there, but we'll try. If not, I'll just take that one fan off the bottom off for a minute until we get all this stuff plugged in. Yeah, you're welcome, dude. All right, I think we're going to route these guys back through here. Okay, let's start with our HD audio. One's got to go the furthest. And we'll see if we can get it through here. Oh, we totally can on the side of the case fans. Great. Love that for us. I'm not sure how much of this you guys can see, but you know, too bad, so sad. All right, that is... looks not fully seated. There we go. I got it. Okay. HD audio is in there. Let's go USB 3. For whatever reason, I like doing USB 3 before USB-C. And the front panel is always last. Don't ask me why. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. I just like to do things the same every time. All right, so USB 3 is there. USB-C is there. So we're gonna run this just right here. Like that. Okay. Run that back out to the back. USB-C right above it. Man, what is going on with my voice today? Okay, there's USB-C. And then our front panel header is gonna go right here. Right in that bottom right corner. Okay. It's a little tight. It's kind of up against those fans, but you know, it's the frame side, so it's not going to hit anything. These are reverse fans, you guys. Reverse. Reverse. Uno reverse. Okay, well. Cool. Really, really glad we put these in beforehand. Such a smart idea for me to do that. No big deal at all. No big deal, chat. Just gonna back it up for a second. Paired up with a 4060. Got it for $330. Oh yeah, that's insane. And then proceeded to overpay for a 48. Dude, but the Pro Art looks so good. I love all of the Pro Art stuff. It just looks incredible. Milking it, this build till its bones break. Yeah, you kind of have to right now. To be fair, I'm still rocking. My game PC has a 4070 Ti Super. It's water blocked. And a 9600X right now. I do have I literally have a 9850X 3D sitting on top of my gaming PC. I've just been too lazy to put it in because I have to drain all my coolant and pull out tubes and stuff. It's kind of pain in the butt. Man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna drink some water. Maybe that'll help. About to build your own PC to 7K CAD. Let's go. What's it gonna have in it, Fiddle? Okay, we just gotta be careful with this. Some of these fans, we don't want to like lift them straight up and hurt any of our connectors that are mounted or plugged in right above them. We should be able to do this without hurting anything. All right, there we go. See, no big deal. Kicking myself for not buying a 4x16 kit right now. I could have made $400 off of 32 gigs of spare capacity. Yeah. You live and learn. I'm glad I bought up kits as soon as I started seeing the pricing go up. Like when it was going up to like $150 per kit. I found some on Newegg Business, I think, for like $99, and I bought as many as I could. I'm trying to, at this point, like I'm trying to just have enough in stock that I can like take the time to hunt for slightly better deals, you know? $14900 KF that you got for free. Nice. 5080 And a 5070 Ti. What are you doing with dual GPUs in there? What's the plan with that? 8 terabyte M.2. Okay, the one thing I would suggest, if all you have is the 8 terabyte, get a 1 terabyte or even like a 500 gig or even like a 256 to use as your OS drive. You really don't want to use a drive that big as your the drive that you have your operating system on. Just because it's more likely to fail. One to watch, but it's like 2 a.m. Oh, the 8 terabyte is divided. Okay, okay. Good, 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 good. All right, got this in place. What is Lootfest? Lootfest is kind of like a TwitchCon. So it's like a creator-focused and community-focused convention in Fort Worth. So there'll be creators there, there'll be some businesses there, and they're really focused on just like creating like a super like community-focused atmosphere where creators can come and hang out with each other and their communities and not feel just like a giant corporate type event. Which, like, I feel like that's kind of what TwitchCon has become. It's just like a corporate event, corporate branding event. So I really like going there. It's a smaller event. There's, you know, usually like a couple of thousand people that'll come throughout the weekend. And I'll bring a streaming booth set up. So we'll have 2 systems there for creators to live stream from during the event. And this is one of the PCs that will be for that. Really sound like you know what you're talking about. How many years experience? 5. Been building and running my business for 5 years now. All right. There we go. Now, look how much better that looks. Okay, so no fans being hit. It's great. We're good there. Okay, so all this stuff is plugged in. Let's get all of our power cables in now. Oh wait, actually, this guy's not plugged in. My rear fan's not plugged into anything. Don't think this cable is long enough to connect up, like daisy chain up with those bottom fans. It's a little short. Unless we swap these. We could probably swap all these, you know? So this guy, come on, can go here. All right, okay. So this guy goes to there. Boom. This guy goes to there. Boom. This guy goes to there. I'm on the wrong scene. You guys yell at me. Jeez. This guy goes to there. And then this guy now connects into that fan all the way over here. So now these are all daisy chained and they're all in a single channel. Perfect. Perfect. We love that for us. Love that for us. Okay. Now I'm ready to put some power cables in. Normally by now I'd be doing a lot more cable management, but I'm still trying to figure out like what my strategy a little bit is going to be like for this system, for cable management wise. So this is probably the only thing we're going to run down this side with this. CPU power is probably just going to run straight over here across. Yeah, okay. Just trying to plan some of that out. Honestly, yo, Harry, thank you so much. Is that a squirrel? Or a cat? I can't tell. It's too small on my hair. You've only built 6 PCs. You've sold 3 to friends. Nice. That's fun, though, dude. Isn't it, like, honestly, The reason why I started building and like created my business was because I enjoy doing it. Like I love building PCs. Oh, shoot, don't do that. And I wanted a way to do that and fuel my passion and not spend thousands of dollars every time I wanted to build a PC, you know? So I started a business. It's not easy. It's stressful, but I like it. And I like doing it. Nobody told me about thermal paste on your first build? Oh, geez. Yeah, it's kind of hard because like a lot of stuff these days comes with like pre-applied thermal paste, but some of them don't. So you have to be careful. No, this is gonna be a horizontal mounted GPU. No, you can't. You can't do a vertical GPU in this one. Not without some crazy adapter. Holding thousands of dollars worth of computer hardware takes some getting used to, for sure. Yeah, I mean, when I first was like getting started for reals, I had to drop like $20,000 in 2021 to get GPUs during the shortage. Luckily, I had a hookup with Best Buy Business, so I was able to get GPUs at, you know, their actual price, not scalper prices, and that's kind of what got me off the ground, was being able to do that and offer systems for really cheaper than people could build them themselves. All right, we don't need SATA power. We don't need PCIe, so we've got our 12 HP power. PCIe, SATA, Molex, CPU. I don't know, do we have two CPUs? We do have two. We can do them both. It doesn't pull enough power to need two CPU power cables, but we can stick them both in there. It doesn't hurt. Balance the load. Paying 3K CAD for the two GPUs you want? Yeah, that's not surprising. 64 gigs DDR5 CL40 for 450 or CL32 6400 for 32 gigs. The power supply is going to go up here. So it mounts, you can see this little bracket here through the side. So the power supply mounts right up to that. What would you recommend for a power supply for the new Nova Lake CPUs? I mean, honestly, open up SPL PSU tier list. It's a giant Google spreadsheet, and find something with like a B or higher rating. And it's really, the size depends on the GPU mostly. If you want to be safe for most GPUs, like an 850 watt is usually safe. But yeah, it really depends on how many watts your GPU pulls. All right. So these guys are going to go like this, over to here, and then down underneath. So got that. And then we'll get our motherboard power going. Yeah, it's a little bit more common only in like smaller form factor builds. So, povertying, honestly, I noticed in like my system at least, the tighter latency and faster speeds didn't make much of a difference for my DDR5 RAM kit. So you probably would be fine getting something with a little bit slower timings. Like, I don't think you're gonna notice a big difference. All right, where's this? Pull some plastic off this power supply. I hate these stickers, man. Nice and clean. All right, so this power supply is going to get mounted this way. So it's going to intake air from the front, and it's going to shoot it up. So, let's see, how much space do I have to plug in cables there? I have some, but I won't be able to see them. So let's flip this around. Grab our cables. I'm gonna probably run them through the bottom if I have the length. Okay. Don't know if the CPU power is going to have this much length, but I know the motherboard and GPU at least will. Okay. Yeah, it's really only common with small form factor stuff. You see it a lot with like the really small ITX cases. They'll be mounted somewhere in the front. Okay, make sure that's nice and seated. And we're gonna run that through back there as well. Okay, and let's see how long these CPU cables are. Those are definitely not gonna be able to run underneath and reach to there. So we'll just run them through that main section. Okay, and this guy is gonna go like this. It's gonna get mounted in just like that. Okay, that top panel doesn't come out. So let's see. Okay, cool. So we can take this bracket out and then mount the power supply to the bracket, and then we put the bracket back on. That's how we're gonna do this. Okay. So I'm just gonna lift that out. You can actually put this at multiple heights too, which is kind of cool. It's like we could put it a little bit lower if we wanted to. I don't know that we want to, but like we could put it a little bit lower if we wanted to. Middle height might be kind of nice. Let's see, how does that feel? That's not bad. At that height we can... We'll have to figure out how to make those CPU power cables look nice. How does this height feel? Yeah, I think we go up at the top just to make it easier for our CPU power cables. All right. So we're gonna hold that like that. Use our teeth here. Nice. Attaboy, Zach. I did some math and turns out I need 1600 watts. Yeah, each of those GPUs pulls a lot of power. That's not super surprising. $502 follows to 10K. Let's go. Chat, if you're in the TikTok stream right now and you're not following, we are so close to getting like fully monetized and into the creator incentive program on TikTok. So if you could just slap that follow button for me, I would hugely appreciate it. Yo, Richie Sense, thank you for the follow. I thought a new power connector. Thoughts on the new power connector? Managed to find a 5070 Ti with the old. Really? I didn't think they make 5070 Ti's with that. I mean, you're forced into the new power connector. 5070 Ti and 5080 are relatively safe because they don't pull nearly as high of power like the 5090 does. I haven't yet to have any issues with customers with them. I don't love the new power cable, but like, you know, it's kind of what we're stuck with, unfortunately. All right, there we go. There's our power supply. And then this is our internal power cable. So this is basically just a jumper that's going to run from the back of the case into the power supply. Another thing that you will see on basically every small form factor case. So this guy just plugs in like this. Like that. So it plugs in there, and then you have your actual one for your, like, going to the wall back here, because obviously you're not really having access to that. All right, let's put the front fascia back on somewhere, somehow. Oh, well, it'd help if I put it right side up. There we go. Okay. So we got that in there. CPU power cable's not looking so hot yet, but that was kind of expected. Okay. Going to have to run this guy out to the front for the GPU. At some point, I really need to start cable managing, you guys. At some point, it's gonna have to happen. I'm just worried that I'll start and then I'll need to undo stuff because of the AIO cables, you know? All right, let's at least do this bottom and right-hand section over here. So first, I'm gonna zip tie this guy up so it doesn't rattle around. I can get you a graphics card if you buy it from me, but I can't get you a free one. Gotta make money, man. This is a business. Good job. Thank you, Grape. Should you wear a non-static bracelet when you're building this? Not really. You really don't need to. I'm wearing gloves, which helps avoid static and helps keep everything nice and clean. But no, components today are much more resilient to static than they used to be, and you really don't need a static bracelet. If you're like really concerned about it, you can, but I've literally never worn one. The rubber gloves help a ton though, because that isolates my body from the case, you know. Okay, so I don't know if those are designed to be tie-off points. We got definitely tie-off points there, so let's use those. We'll use these new ones. If it fails, it's unworthy. That's right. Do my PC just now with bare hands on carpet, no protection. Nice. Heck yeah, built in that case last year. Oh, you did? Dude, I love this case. This is the first time building in it, but I am in love with it. Like from the moment I saw it, like I was like, I want something kind of smaller for this one. I wanted it to be very unique. And when I saw this one, I was like, yes, that is the case that I want. Building your PC tomorrow, what's the hardest part? Cable management. The part that I'm doing right now. It's easily the most time consuming, and if you don't plan ahead and don't start early, it can very quickly become overwhelming. So my advice is always one, like, look at some builds and see kind of how they do their cable management, and then start doing your cable management, you know, as soon as you can during the build process. And then you can always, like, especially if you use cable ties, you can undo them and redo them to like add more cables to it and stuff. but it just makes your life so much easier. Okay, so I got that a little bit sorted down there. I think I have to put my AIO in before I can manage this stuff. This stuff, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's probably gonna get wrapped up to here. All right, cooler time. Let's get chilly. My dumb butt used Thermalright RGB fans. No knock on them, but I was hiding pigtails in every nook and cranny. Yeah, right. This I got for free. This came with a CPU or something on Newegg. Like literally completely free. It was just like, if you buy this CPU, you get one of these. And I was like, dope, I'll take it. I was gonna buy the CPU anyways. And then I was like, ooh, I could use that for Lootfest. So here we are. Factory sealed. Okay, so I definitely want to mount it this way. Just check the box. MSI Ventus 5070 Ti has, oh, it has a splitter, but you still have the native you still have the native connector on the GPU itself. I would avoid adapters wherever possible. You're just adding another potential failure point. Like, I would find a power supply that can do 2 native 600 watt or whatever 12 VH power connectors. So you have the exact same connector on both sides. You don't want adapters in your system. Like, that's just, there's more things to go wrong if you do it that way. You know? All right. So, at least the CPU power, or CPU fan power, I want to plug in first. That's CPU fan on the top. I have CPU optional. Is there an AIO pump fan? Yes, so that one's there. How much space do I have in here once this is in? So you got that, put that there. Yeah, I have enough space to stick it to the back. Okay. Yo, Mary, thank you so much for the follow. Want to buy from me, but you're in the Philippines? Yeah, probably not a great idea because it'll be really expensive. Yeah, pretty much every, now, okay, if that's what you're talking about, yeah, every GPU from the 50 series comes with that adapter, so that it works with older power supplies, but I wouldn't use it if you can avoid it. Just get a power supply with native 12 VH power. If I have daisy chain fans, would I still need a hub for your PC? Nope. Ground Game, what's up? So the specs for today's build. We've got an Intel Core Ultra 5 245K, 32 gigs, DDR5 CL36000. We've got an RTX 5070, 850 watt power supply. Got the Asus TUF B860M. And then the Montech Heritage Pro. This case is awesome. 1 terabyte SSD installed inside. Yeah, it's a great little build, dude. I'm super excited to take this to Lootfest this year. Right, Tech, how you feeling, man? I don't know if you're still in here, but you have the same Montech Heritage from Micro Center? No way. Yeah, I paid like the whatever $10 extra and got the Pro model, so that I have. It came with the pre-installed fans because I was planning on doing like minimal RGB on this build, and then yeah, so it came with the pre-installed fans. Comes with like the whole hanger holder, whatever you want to call it, and then it also comes with it also comes with, what's it called? A little like headset hanger, like a little thing that you can hang your headset on, which is kind of cool. Building your dad an Apple-esque PC with an MSI Expert 4070 Ti 7600X 3D. Oh, that's sick. Hell no, sorry, that's not updated. I forgot to update it today. But Core Ultra 5, 245K, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, 850 watt power supply, 5070. Got the MSI Core Liquid A13. B860 MATX motherboard from Asus TUF, and then the Montech Heritage Pro. How do I afford to build all these PCs? Most of them are customer builds. Most of them are pre-sold and then built to order. Like the social media side and like the live stream side is basically just, you know, free marketing and advertising for my business, which is building computers. So when I get sales, I build them live on stream. This one is a little bit different because this one we're taking to Lootfest, which is like a, you know, think like Comic-Con type thing, but small. And so creators are going to come and they'll stream from this PC, and then afterwards we will, I will sell it. All right, let's get some dermal paste on here. Yeah, so if you see me building live on stream, it is almost 100% likely that it's a customer build or a future customer build. Like we did our ready to ship system recently, our first ready to ship system. That, you know, doesn't have a predetermined customer before building it, but it is destined for sale. All right. There we go. Got that all nice and spread out. Wipe the excess off of our spatula so we can use it again. Okay. Check the fingies. Nothing there. Nothing there. Good. Plastic off. I could pay $1,000 CAD for multiple 16 pins, or I could pay $450 CAD and put one of the GPUs on the adapter. Yeah, I mean, if you have to do it that way, I guess you could. All right. Let's see. So I can mount it that way with the tubes on the bottom. I'm a little concerned about those bumping into the GPU unless I put them on the side. We could go full Rebel and put it like this. This I can move, so MSI will be facing up. And then this will have to kind of just wrap around one side or the other. But I think this is probably going to be best so that the tubes aren't hitting the GPU at all. You made it. What up, Trail Tech? Yeah, the PSU's in the front. It's kind of a... You really only see it in smaller form factor cases where they do that. Okay, got that one started. Gotta be a little bit careful because that back plate is being held on with hopes and dreams and a little bit of double-sided adhesive. Come on. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, I think those are all started now. You have an older EVGA 1600 watt titanium Supernova power supply that has a 3080 Ti on it. Plan on upgrading with the 5070 Ti. Should upgrade the power supply to 5.0 for transient power spikes? Not really. I mean, it is unfortunate that you'll have to use like a power adapter to get the Nvidia 12 HV power thing, but those power supplies are meant to last for like 7 to 10 years, like under warranty a lot of times. So it's more than powerful enough, so I don't see a good reason to replace it when you already have it, you know. Did I get a good deal? $1,500 for a 7800X3D 9070 XT, 32 gigs of RAM, and 2 terabyte NVMe. Let's see, so roughly 400, 800, so that's 1200, 1500. Yeah, you got a good deal. Especially if they're basically new. Okay. It's all nice and tight. Cool. So we can pull this little guy. Oh, I cut my fingernails. I need to use this. Come on. Okay. I want MSI facing up. Like that. All right. Now we just got to route these guys up through the back. Okay. All right. So we got RGB is going to go to this RGB daisy chain there from the fans. Come on. I hate RGB connectors. There we go. And this is going to our AIO pump header, which is right next to the RGB port, which is right up here. Just like that. Okay. So that stuff, everything that's in there so far is plugged in now. And now we can really start focusing on our cable management. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a zip tie here. Let's see, one of our chunkier zip ties. So we're gonna do a zip tie here. Come on. Just like this. Like that. I want my CPU power to go through it as well. Actually, I want all those guys to go through that too. Okay, so got that. I didn't tighten that down just yet because I'm still figuring out. I kind of want as much length for my CPU power cables as possible, so I'm not going to use that first one. I'm just going to get this in there like that. Okay. So that's all like that. And then these guys, I actually want to go underneath that CPU power cable. So I'm gonna unplug these real quick. So I want these guys to route underneath here. I'll make it a little cleaner. Like that and like that. Okay. Because now bring those back together here and tie them up there. Okay, just like that. So that looks nice. Power supply, or power, motherboard power and USBs. I think we can start them through that. We'll use cable ties for the rest of this. Built a PC new with those specs. Gigabyte B850. Yeah, that's a great build, dude. Tell you the sign of the times when I built in that case. It was a 7700X, 32 gigs DDR5, and a Dell OEM 3080 sold it for 900 bucks and made profit. Oh man, the good old days. The good old days, man. Yeah, take me back to like summer through September in terms of PC component pricing. Those were the freaking days, man. Trying to pull these cables as tight as possible without, you know, damaging them. Ideally, making them, at least make the power supply cables flat. Okay, something like that. All right, I'm gonna get the GPU in here now, just so I know how much length I actually have to work with, because it's gonna have to get tied in at like the same time as this other stuff down here. Go for it, Sergeant. That's the reason why your parts were so cheap. Oh yeah, Micro Center deals, dude. I wish I had a Micro Center near me. Do you have a suggestion with ITX build, dual fan GPU you want compact? I mean, what do you want to spend? How much budget do you have to spend on the GPU? Hi there, what's up? I can't pronounce your name, I'm so sorry. What CPU's inside this PC? Intel Core Ultra 5 245K. It's a 14 core processor. Perfect for what we're gonna be using it for, which is gaming and streaming, for like 200 bucks. I live in Idaho, in the US. I only need the case. I have the ROG Strix. Oh. So you have a dual fan GPU. You want something compact. Fractal Terra or the Lian Li A4H20. Those are super solid options. That's a tight fit, but it's gonna work. I made sure to check that it would fit, but you know, sometimes the case isn't always the most accurate for dimensions of what's available. All right, RTX 5070 Asus Prime. Get all this plastic off here. Where's my little plastic thingy? There it is. Dude, this thing got damaged in shipping. Look at that. It's just the back plate, nothing else. Doesn't look like the actual GPU board itself didn't get damaged. That's kind of lame. I don't have time to replace it right now, so. I leave on Wednesday next week, so I don't have time to get a new one, but it's kind of crazy. Man, that doesn't even look like shipping damage, like they dropped it while packaging it or something. Because there's no damage on the box. Box looks perfect, so they dropped this. Check this out. They dropped this in shipping. There you go. You can kind of see it right there in the corner. Right there. Got dented just on the back plate. And then there's one other little mark right there. Crazy. But everything else looks fine. I'm looking at the board. There's no marks on the board even right underneath this. So I'm wondering if they damaged it, like they dropped the back plate or something, because the board itself looks fine. We'll find out when I run it, when I test it and get everything set up. So we'll find out. All right, plastic's all off. We're good. All right, so I need those first two off. Nothing I can do about it right now. We might RMA it, but I can't do it today or before Lootfest. I've got video evidence of what it looked like straight out of the box, so can't exactly fight it. It's definitely not like Amazon or Newegg's fault, because the box on the outside of that looks fine. Okay, got that clicked in. Walla, is your favorite water bottle? Steal my girlfriend's all the time. I bought it. Yeah, I bought one a few months ago. It's really nice. I love having, like, you have the straw and the, like, you can pour it too. Terra's awesome but expensive. Yeah, it is. Ventus 8 gig 56 Ti is actually a pretty good price right now. They're tiny. 370 bucks. That's not bad at all. Terra's awesome but expensive. Bought a RTX 5080. It's not arrived yet, but I'm thinking every GPU has different power cable. No, every RTX 50 series above the 5060 Ti has the same power cable as the 40 series, and power supplies come with those power cables. The one thing you have to pay attention to if you bought like a 5090 is some power supply cables are rated for 650 watts and others are rated for like 450 watts. So if you buy a power supply that's smaller than like a 1000 watt, it's gonna be rated for like 450 watts, not 650, most likely. Yo, thank you so much for those donos on TikTok. How many P cores on the Intel CPU? This one has 6 P cores and 8 E cores. It is super convenient. I love it. Northwest repair video incoming. Send it to Salem Tech Experts. Just kidding. I'm pretty sure he's in Salem, Massachusetts. Not. He might be in Oregon. I don't know. I'm guessing he's in Massachusetts, not Oregon, though. Okay. Okay, got that fully seated. Gonna give it a nice gentle bend to make it around that corner. All right. So here's where things get interesting. Because there's not a lot of space back here. All of these power cables, I might need to pull them back like towards the open side of the case when they come off the power supply. Ground game with the follow, thank you. Yeah, like that. Okay. Okay, I think I got a plan here. Do you post tech videos on the Red app? I do. Short and long form stuff gets posted on the Red app. Indeed. Okay. Then I think what we'll do here is we can go up with this guy a little bit. From Brazil, what's up? Cool PC, thank you. I think it's really cool too. That's why I wanted to make it for Lootfest. Okay. That. Don't think I can go underneath that like that. wanted to, but I don't think I can. I think we could just go down right like that. Let's do that. The case, sorry, the specs is out of date. I forgot to update it. The case is a Montech Heritage Pro. A Northwest, Salem, and Rossman would be a deadly trio. The greatest technician that's ever lived. He makes great videos, man. Okay, so now we just got to deal with our CPU power cable here, and then we'll be solid, dude. Chunky as a tire. All right. Moment of truth is not going to be whether this turns on, because I'm pretty confident it will. The moment of truth is going to be whether the back plate fits on top, or fits on with how I have that in there. All right, got the top on. All right, let's see what happens here, chat. Seems like there's a decent gap for the back, but we'll find out. Oh yeah. That fits on so easily. All right. No, we haven't booted yet. Elio, thank you for the follow. Leonardo, thank you for coming in with the follow. Just a reminder, chat, if you're on TikTok, we are super, super close, like just a few hundred followers away from being fully monetized on there. So if you're watching, please, please, please drop a follow. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. All right. All right. Quick reminder, what we've got in this system here. Hold on, I gotta fix the camera because it doesn't like it if my face isn't in the frame for some reason, even though face detection is turned off. Okay. So in this system, we've got the Intel Core Ultra 5 245K, 32 gigs of Kingston Fury CL36000 RAM. We've got a 1 terabyte SSD, the Asus TUF B860M motherboard, an RTX 5070 from Asus Prime. We've got the Montech Heritage Pro that comes with the installed case fans, and it comes with like some cool hangers and stuff. 850 watt power supply from ASRock, and then the MSI Core Liquid A13. This actually came for free with a CPU that I got, so pretty dope. And there you have it, folks. That is a completed build, and this is a very generous bend on this connector so that it doesn't get ruined. All right, who's ready to see this thing power on for the first time? Who's ready for it? No, we're not going to put all the panels on, just these ones, you know? I needed to make sure this back panel would fit. I wasn't sure how much space I had for all the cables that are on the back side, because it's pretty narrow. When you don't have this panel on, you can't tell how deep it's going to be, but it's pretty deep. Love the build, so clean. You're ready? Who else is ready? Shazam! What up, Trail Tech? Kick the tires and light the fires. That vertical PSU mount is really cool. Yeah, you really don't see it very often. It's really only in some of the smaller form factor cases that you see that. All right. First ever power on, folks. Hold on, I gotta find the power button. It's up here somewhere. Oh, I love this. It's fake. It's not real leather, but the leather all along the panels. Oh, it's so good. And this is a very minimal RGB build. We did that on purpose. It's very just kind of, it's got the bespoke feel, you know? There it is. Nice and clean. Here, let's turn off some lights so that you can hopefully get a better view inside. There you go. So just nice and clean. Very minimal RGB, literally just the RGB from the cooler plate and the fans on top. Everything else is just black. Before you end the stream, you got to put the handle and panel on. Oh, that's true. Let's do it. Linux? No, it's going to be Windows. My customers don't. My customers are not Linux people. Let's see. Did it post? Yep, we got the green and white light, which means it posted as far as it could. All right, and then this is the other side panel. It's got plastic on it still, so it's not going to look super clean yet, but hold on. So I just want to show you guys one of the cool features about this build in this case, besides all that leather work, fake leather work. We're probably gonna either like make the RGB super muted or just a very like, you know, like a nice white to really like keep it clean. But here's the cool part about this build in this case. 1 second, chat. 1 second. So you actually get two options here. You have the handle, which go like this. Yo, okay, thank you for the follow. I'm gonna turn it off for this when I pick it up, just in case. We'll bring this down so it's a little bit easier for me to lift. There you go. So this is intended to feel lifted up like that. Pretty cool. The other feature that it comes with, which I might put it on there at Lootfest, I haven't decided yet. What do I do with that other one? Hold on 1 second. I know I have it down here in this box of many things. Somewhere. Somewhere? What did I do with that, chat? What did I do with the other? What the heck? Okay, I don't know what I did with it. I'll find it. But you can replace this guy here with a different screw-in attachment that actually acts as a holder for your gaming headphones, your headset. So you can just hang your headset right from the PC case. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Dan. The Louis Vuitton. You imagine just like walking down the street with this thing? This thing's pretty heavy. Maybe if you did a smaller form, like a cheaper build, it wouldn't be so heavy. Yeah, this is probably cheaper than your average Louis Vuitton bag. So, you know, tell your girl, you know, get one of these instead. Get a cheap pair of black headphones, put an RE sticker on the earpiece. There you go. I don't think I even have any headphones in the office anymore. I use IEMs, so. Pretty sick, yeah? Pretty sweet. So that's the whole build. Got the leather, got the strap, got the nice black and leather up front, and the nice black and leather in the back. And then the airflow pattern for this guy is mostly going to be bottom up with some exhaust on the back as well. But I don't think we'll have any problems with cooling. Power supply gets fresh air from the front and kicks it out the top as well. Yeah, this is a great little build. Super excited. The white version's super clean also. Yeah, my thing was I already had a white system planned out. I wanted like contrast, right? So I had a white system planned out for Lootfest, and then I wanted like a clean dark system. So I was like, this is the perfect combo. Nope, still smells like electronics. My favorite PC case? I can't choose one, man. There's so many good ones out there, and there's always new ones coming out. I think my favorite one recently, it's not even out yet. Shoot, what was the name of that company? Apivia, I think is the name of the company. They're out of Dubai, I think, or UAE. But they're designing like the entire case is basically built out of billet aluminum. I'm so excited. I want to get my hands on one. I talked to them at CES. I really need to reach out to them again and see if we can get one to test out. You knock someone out cold with that thing? Bro, I bet you this strap would rip off before you do it, but it'd be fun to watch. Haven is a great one. Johnsbow has some really cool stuff. Yeah, like with the big screen up front. Yeah, full aluminum. I have a video on it. Go find it on, you can find it on like any of my social media platforms, Ground Game. They did like a full, they do like a full aluminum case, and I interviewed like one of their head engineers. All right, y'all. That's all I got for you tonight. That's it. Build's done. We got it to post. I'll be working on this, tomorrow to get software and stuff on it, get it tested, get games downloaded on it for all the creators. And then we got to move on and we got to build the next one because we got 2 builds to take to Lootfest. This is just the first one. Ooh, that power supply, like that silver on that power supply looks kind of sick through there, doesn't it? Someone tell me that doesn't look cool. The little silver emblem from the power supply. I just noticed that. Looks pretty good. I want to build in the Cougar Omni X. Yeah, I like this build, guys. I'm ecstatic. This thing is really cool. And hopefully we sell it while we're at Lootfest so I don't have to bring it home. Oh, TikTok. TikTok's upset at me. Visibility restricted. It's okay, we're done. All right, y'all. That is the end of the stream. Again, if you're watching on TikTok and you haven't followed yet, please do. We are super close to hitting 10,000 followers so that I can make money on TikTok. Okay? Like without people donating. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out, making it fun, chatting, asking questions. It's all great. We love it. And we'll see you on the next one. It might have to be tomorrow. Might have to be tomorrow to really get these Lootfest builds churning. So have a great rest of your night. We will see you all on the next one, all right? Peace. Goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. GG's. Thanks, Mean Dean. We'll see you later.